say 2 years ago, if it's SAFT agreement, a lot of VC has jumped in, and I think from what has happened, which is the topic of the bear market, a lot of VC started coming into SAFE plus token warrants agreements, and this is kind of gap between startups and the VC, where some startups would think that it's an easy kind of cash talking to VCs if you splash out lower valuation, stuff like that. But some projects are kind of high valuated, and there's no really kind of background stories of why the valuation is so high. It's related to teams, products, but it doesn't define sometimes, so there's a huge gap between.
And the niche or the kind of differentiator that you have, you need to definitely put it out there and make it clear as a message. So I think that's very important, but you have to kind of look at all your options, and I think it's important to have the right network of people as well. That, so you said about events happening and going to events, but when you go to events like this, especially for somebody like me, I can't speak to anyone for more than 5 minutes because everybody else wants to talk to you, right? So you don't really talk business. And I always tell the people that I meet at these events, let's meet outside and really like talk in detail about what you're doing and what I'm doing, and we can have a meaningful conversation. So I think, yes, it's good to go to events, but when you have that network of people that you already have in the past years, then you should be actually approaching them and reopening conversations with them and continuing relationships with them so that you can develop that trust, because it's a relationship at the end of the day. If the person that you want to invest in you has a good relationship with you as a person and can trust you, then they're more likely to invest.
Absolutely. Just to add to that, just in the past few days, we had SALT in Abu Dhabi, you had the Middle East Investment Congress, you had the launch of the Family Office Association. So when you're talking about specifics, I think you need to be a bit careful about which events you go to and how. So at SALT, they were expecting 200 people, and I think about a couple of thousand, if I'm not wrong, turned up. And that's the kind of focus fundraising strategy you need to bring up. Wasim, what are you seeing in terms of the fundraising on the fund side, please?
Yes, so I think for past like 3 years, where online started to become very common, during the COVID era, a lot of, when you want to talk to LPs, that was the only way to communicate. But once you start hitting, the world started opening up, it goes back to the era of meeting the people, getting to know each other, and as Saeed mentioned, it's all about the trust, it's all about who you know in the past and current and in the future. That's very important to kind of understand. And I think when it comes to venture capital, when you're opening up your fund, if you do not have your track records, it's very difficult to raise. But it's the same thing where you have your own connection to kind of persuade them to kind of invest in you and build track records. Unless you don't do that, you're not going to be able to do anything. You just try to survive